Welcome to the Love the Skin You're In Skin Summit. I'm your host, Samantha Dench. Before I introduce to you today's speaker, I just want to thank everybody for being here today and being part of the summit. I know we have a couple more days before we wrap this up, so I hope you're enjoying all the content and the amazing speakers and everything that they have to offer. Just a reminder that each interview is available for 24 hours. If you'd like lifetime access to all their speakers, all their content, and all the bonuses, you can still purchase that for $97. Let me introduce to you today's speaker, Dr. Atousa Mahdavi. Dr. Atousa is a doctor of chiropractic medicine. She's also a holistic doctor practicing functional medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and yoga therapy. Dr. Mahdavi is located in LA. Welcome, Dr. Mahdavi.
Hello, thank you so much for having me on your summit.
Absolutely, thank you for being here today.
Glad to be of service.
I am going to turn it over to you. I'm going to have you introduce yourself and share your journey of how you got started and how your journey shaped you into building your business and helping your clients.
Sure. So that takes me back to many years ago to my childhood. I used to, in my family, we used to have my grandparents live with us. And so I was really close to my maternal grandfather. When I was born, he was there up to the age of 4. And of course, he was retired because he was elderly. And I used to spend a lot of time with him at the house, and I wasn't going to school yet, and my grandmom was at home, and my mom worked part-time at the time, so I spent so much time with my grandpa. So I grew very close to him. He would, feed me, lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever. So I was really close to him. But he was old, and one morning I basically saw a lot of chaos going on in the house, especially in his room. And the door of his room for a moment was open, and I picked in, and they weren't letting the kids inside. And so I just picked in, and I saw him lying down, motionless. And of course, everybody was sad, and I'm like, what's going on? So he had passed away. But, I'm not a spring chicken. So at that time, they wouldn't really explain to a 4-year-old, what has happened. And you have no concept of death. You have no concept of illness. He just vanished out of my life. And that really impacted me, mostly subconsciously. So what happened is I left with this sense of curiosity as I grow older and older, with this sense of curiosity and wanting to know what's going on with the body, what's going on with health, wellness, death, sickness, etc. And situations like this presented themselves to me. Like when I was about 6 years old, my paternal grandma came to visit us because we lived in a different city. So she came to visit us for a couple of months or so. And again, I used to be at home most of the time. And I used to watch her like rub her joints with these ointments. And so I would be curious. I'm like, what are you doing? So she's like, I have to rub this because the doctor gave this to me. I have pain here. She had rheumatoid arthritis. So when I grew older, I realized she had rheumatoid arthritis. And then as she got older and older, and I got older and I could understand what's going on, I thought she is getting a little bit deformed in her hands, etc. And so when she was visiting, I would be inclined to ask her, okay, let me do some of this ointment, massage it and rub it in your hands and things like that. So I would do that. Then the same grandma, when she was sick in the hospital, I was 12 years old, then my dad lifted her up off of the hospital bed because he got very vigilant and he didn't want to wait for the staff. She had to either be transported to another room or she was coming home, I'm not sure. And he threw out a disc, my dad, from lifting her up. And so at home now, I'm like 12, and I'm like doing all kinds of massages with my feet as I walked on his back with my hands, all kinds of things. Like I had no idea, never seen it. I had never been exposed to massage or chiropractic, none of that. And then, but I would be very intuitive about it. So fast forward, I'm in college and I liked studying life sciences, you know, physics, chemistry, biochemistry, physiology, anatomy, and math also. So then talking to counselors, they're like, well, these are all the health sciences, and probably health field would be something that you could do. And I wanted to be in the health field, but I wasn't sure what kind of healthcare provider. So I started taking pre-med courses, like everything that is required for medicine. And when it was time for me to decide either to go to a medical school, take MCAT, whatnot, then I really looked at my tendencies. I really had um, an aberration for pharmaceutical meds. And even when I was in college, and that's a different story, but there was an incident that I wanted to take something over the counter, and I had no idea that this was going to be banned years later because FDA banned it. And I had this in my hand, and I was in college at the time. And for the life of me, I couldn't put it in my mouth. I just couldn't. There was an intuitive uh, tendency or intuitive voice from inside. There wasn't actually any voice, there was absolute silence. But it was like the time has stopped, like, and I just couldn't put this in my mouth. And I decided I'm not going to do it. And so, and also I didn't have a good feeling about hospital environment. So talking to my counselor in college, she told me, okay, there is chiropractic, there is physical therapy, there is acupuncture, maybe pharmacy. I said, no, pharmacy, absolutely not. And so I went and I observed chiropractors in their office. And it was like, it clicked. That is it. I'm so like good with my hands. I have done this like, throughout my life, just helping different people. And I just didn't know there was something called chiropractic. I just, and I've been a chiropractor for 25 years now. So this is in college. So it's years ago. I graduated from chiropractic school in 1994. And so I was in college at least for three and a half years. And so, so when I saw that, I said, that's it. I'm becoming a chiropractor. So I transferred to a chiropractic school and Cleveland Chiropractic University, and studied there for 4 years, and graduated with a doctorate degree in chiropractic medicine. As a chiropractor, we're primary care portal of entry in most of the states in the United States. We're portal of entry. And so I used to get a lot of people with diabetes, with hypertension, with autoimmune diseases, with digestive issues like inflammatory bowel diseases, like Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, you name it. And I thought in chiropractic school, we specialize in neuromusculoskeletal ailments. That's our specialty. However, we also have enough education as a general medicine practitioner. But we are also much more better trained in nutrition. And so I would help them with nutrition, but I still felt like I needed to know more. I needed to have the more solid grasp on the alternative, the holistic way of treating. So then I went and I got a certification in functional medicine as a chiropractor. So I got a certification in functional medicine, which means, what is functional medicine? Functional medicine is a natural, holistic approach to health and wellness. And it is holistic in the sense that it looks at your lifestyle, diet, and nutrition based on testing, blood work, a tissue mineral analysis, measuring toxicities through either taking a hair sample, urine samples, stool, etc. So it's based on testing, especially blood work. And so I started doing that. That was probably about 17 years ago, 17 or 18 or 17 years ago. And And so I started incorporating functional medicine, which was so much rewarding for me because now I had the body mechanics as a chiropractor under my belt, biomechanics of motion, alignment, posture, musculoskeletal health. And now I have this other package of tools of nutrition based on blood work, so a scientific approach. And I continued with that, and a personal health experience in my own life basically caused major neck pain for me. And I'm a chiropractor, and I'm like, what is this? And that was actually, I guess you could say, simultaneous with functional medicine. And so I started practicing yoga for myself, for neck pain, because I would have acupuncturists, chiropractors work on my neck. It would be okay temporarily, but because my work as a chiropractor was so physical, 2 days later I would be in pain again. And so I discovered yoga. So I started practicing yoga for me. But then as I got better and better and better with yoga, I became a believer. I'm like, experientially though, not a blind faith, but experientially. And I would run into people who were practicing yoga in yoga studios, etc. And they shared their story with me. Teachers would share their stories with me. Even one of the teachers I took some classes with, he saved himself from multiple sclerosis, MS, by doing yoga. And of course, he changed his diet too, and things like that. And so then I started incorporating some of these yoga movements, combine it with therapeutic exercise, which is something that we do as chiropractors and physical therapists. And then I saw major improvement in my patients. In fact, their treatments for chiropractic would be less if they did my yoga and therapeutic exercise regimen. Mm. That continued until the year 2012. And that's when I actually decided I want to learn yoga methodically to teach it methodically. So I went to India in 2012. In June of 2012, towards the end, I went to India, and I went to a school in South India, which is a very traditional school of yoga. And I lived there for about 6 months. And every day was yoga. We didn't know what's Monday, what's Saturday, it didn't matter. We just did yoga all the time. And it was really transformational. They made us yogis, not yoga teachers. It was 1800s of yoga hours, whereas a lot of teachers here have 200 hours, 500 hours. So it was like really intense. So December, towards the end of December, I came back. And ever since 2013, I actually teach workshops. I used to travel all across the US and teach. That way, I would have people fly to LA and I would teach them this particular style of yoga. When I was in India, they gave us an introduction to Ayurvedic medicine. Now, Ayurveda is the sister science of yoga. And it's an ancient wisdom within the yogic books that are ancient, meaning going back to thousands of years ago. And so Ayurveda is in the same text as yoga that goes back to like 6, 7, 8,000 years ago. However, it's the science of life. So if yoga is the science of enlightenment or spiritual awakening, Ayurveda is the science of life, how to be healthy, how to have longevity, so that you can be healthy so you could do what is needed for liberation or enlightenment or spiritual awakening. And it was such a click in India when they taught us an introduction to Ayurveda, because it brought in a more subtle aspect of people as it pertains to the 5 elements, element of earth, water, fire, air, and space. And so it puts people into 3 constitutions, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, as basically each one of these is a play of 2 elements. And based on your constitution, you will get a very individualized approach to health and wellness. And I always knew one size doesn't fit all. I always knew that some things work for some people, but everything doesn't work for everyone. And I knew that. Even in my own functional medicine practice, I knew that. And Ayurveda brought that individuality. And so I came back, I realized that in California, two of the best schools of Ayurveda are in California. One is in Northern California, one is in Southern California. And I studied at both. And about 3 years of studying at both schools, I became an Ayurvedic practitioner. So now that's added to my tools in addition to yoga therapy. This is my story in a nutshell.
No, that's amazing. I love how you started out, you're like, I want to be in the medical field, but then you just realize, like, I love that story. You're like, I knew something wasn't right. I couldn't take that pill. And I feel like, unfortunately, as you know, a lot of doctors, they're just like, here, this will help you feel better. And so I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've had a lot of clients come in over the years, and it's like a lot of people just say, oh, they can't figure out what's wrong with me, or, I've been taking this medicine and I'm still having symptoms. And I just feel like that's part of the disconnect here. And you've learned to encompass that and just follow your intuition and just continue to grow and learn. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, if we trust our intuition, and unfortunately, everybody's different. Like how we are intuitive for everybody is different. Someone may have a better intuition when it comes to people or relationships, right? My intuition was always very, very keen when it comes to health and wellness. And I think because that's my calling. That is why when it comes to health and wellness, and like anything else, you go to an expert. You go to an expert, you find a mentor, and you let them teach you understand your body. You let them give you the guidelines, the tools that you could study with them or work with them for some time, but then you become independent of them. And you could apply those principles to yourself. Then oh, okay, when I eat that, that's what's happening. Or I should eat more of that. I should eat less of that. This is the kind of exercise that works for me. This is the kind of yoga that works for me or doesn't work for me. And so, yeah, I feel that because this was my calling, that I just had a very early sense of intuitive wisdom or knowledge when it comes to what goes into my body and what doesn't go to my body.
Yeah. And I love how you talk about how when your patients come in, everybody's individualized. And really that's how it should be. I mean, again, like going back to the traditional way, and even being an esthetician and dealing with the skin, a lot of women go to the store and they buy lines because they're like, oh, I have acne, so I'm just going to treat the acne. And it's like, there's more to it than just the acne. Like there's the internal part of it, there's the external part of it. And it's, even with like the skincare line that I carry and that I recommend to clients, like everything's so individualized. And, that's like nowadays we watch, even for your industry, we watch doctors or bloggers or Instagrammers that are talking about like health and wellness and skin. And they're just sharing what they know and the products that work for them. And so many people are running out and buying them and actually causing damage to their bodies, to their skin, because they think, well, they look good, so I need to do that.
Yeah, that is so true. And that is one very important key when it comes to health, right? Whether it's skin health, whether it's digestive health, whether it's, mental health, whatever, right? General health.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's okay that we have a lot of access to the internet and a lot of information on the web, and we could just Google something. But there is also a little bit of a danger to that. Because, something becomes a fad, and then everybody's doing that. I have had personally people coming to me doing Atkins diet back then, but now it's the keto diet, ketogenic diet. So both. And they had health issues. They developed health issues because of the Atkins or the ketogenic diet. Now, there is 30% of the population that does great on the Atkins or the ketogenic diet, but not everybody. And so then there is the paleo diet, then there is South Beach diet, so we have to be careful about these fats, or people doing all kinds of detoxes based on what's online. And I've even had like patients, doing some kind of a detox that was online, and they're completely like, affected adversely affected. And so it's very, really, really important when it comes to health. It's okay to have general knowledge, learn as much as you can, but don't dive, head down into a fad that everybody's doing.
Right.
Study yourself. Work with an expert and let them help you. And like you said, there are experts online, and they're like, everybody's saying, oh, this works for, so it's a matter of also trusting your intuition, finding the best, not just because someone has 1 million followers and they have the nicest car that they're showing off on their YouTube videos, that that they have the best knowledge or the best tools to offer.
Yeah. So if a patient comes to you and they are having like health issues or skin problems, like what would be the first thing that you do with them?
So always, my practice is a holistic practice. So I look at their daily routines. I look at their rituals, what they do during the day. I look at their diet. I look at their level of toxicity in their bodies, because free radicals, we know that aging, the process of aging, not only on the outside, but also inside. It's a process of free radical formation and the incapacity of the body to flush out the free radicals. It's a basically degenerative process as we age. And so when we're young, the body's filters are fresh, the body is agile. It's like a new car, it's like a brand new car. And the more you use it and then it ages, then it starts to have problems, it starts to have issues, and that's why you maintain your car. You change the filters, you change the oil, you take it for tune-ups, etc. It's the same with the body. As it ages, it's going to need attention, detoxification, the proper diet, the proper activities throughout the day, exercise routine, the healthy foods, and also mindset. Because I tell you what, if you don't have the proper mindset, you're not going to want to wake up and get on the treadmill, or you're not going to wake up and drink that glass of water with some lemon in it, for example. So because that's one of the things that I tell most people that come to see me, because detoxification is a major issue that we need to address. Also, body being acidic. If the pH of the body becomes acidic, then we have more propensity for inflammation. And an acidic environment in the body, inflammation and free radicals is the recipe for disease and aging. So all those tools that are good for prevention of disease, rejuvenation and longevity and optimal health are the same tools for a beautiful skin. Beautiful skin. Now, granted, as we age, there is going to be some wrinkles, maybe there is going to be some dropping of the skin, etc. But nonetheless, the glow, the youthfulness, the skin that is still youthful can be preserved. And so it's just a matter of how you address your lifestyle. So for example, acidity, let's go back to that. To make the body alkaline, the first thing that I address the patients is when and a lot of people don't drink enough water. So hydration, making sure you're hydrated, and your skin also has a lot to do how plump it is and how rejuvenated it looks, or if it's dehydrated and not really looking good, has to do with also water. A lot of people don't drink enough water. So I get them used to the first thing you wake up after you shower or brush your teeth and wash your mouth, etc., is drink 1 or 2 cups of room temperature water. And I always look at the size of the person and I say, okay, maybe 2 cups, maybe 1 cup. And the rule of thumb is you want 1 quart of water per 50 pounds of body weight throughout the day. So it's about 32 ounces per 50 pounds of your body weight, okay? Or 1 quart of water. And so the first thing is you wake up in the morning and on empty stomach, you drink 1 or 2 cups of room temperature water with a squeeze of lemon or lime. So even though lime and lemon are acidic, they're after digestion or once they're metabolized, they're alkalizing. So they make the body alkaline once they're metabolized. So when you squeeze that, the water becomes alkaline, so which is great for the body, for detoxification. Another thing that it does, drinking that 1 or 2 cups of water, if you do not have regular bowel movements every day, you're holding on to toxicity. And guess what? You will age faster. Your skin will age faster as well. And so drinking that room temperature water, and for people who have chronic constipation, I encourage them to warm up the water. So instead of room temperature, warm up the water. That 1 or 2, now if you're constipated, I'll make sure you have 2 cups of water. It doesn't matter what your size is. If you have chronic constipation, 2 cups of water with drops of lemon, warm water. That also helps to start the peristalsis in the colon and move the toxicities out of the colon, meaning having a bowel movement. So it will enhance the ability to move a bowel in the morning. So the daily routines are really important, how we time it, because we have a circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is like a biological clock, not the women biological clock, a biological clock, 24 hours, that physiology changes naturally according to the sunlight. And so this is something, it's programmed in our DNA for thousands of years of, millions of thousands of years of evolutionary process, right? And so we have different hormones going up and down according, physiologically, according to the circadian rhythm. And if you do not live by the dictates of the physiology of the circadian rhythm, you throw your physiology out, you throw your hormonal balance out, and then many things do not happen the way it should. Many physiological processes, biochemical processes do not take place as they're meant to be. So according to the circadian rhythm, the best time to have a bowel movement is in the morning, between 7 to 8:30 a.m. However, if that is not doable, then after your first meal, you must be emptying your bowel. It should happen automatically. And that is a once a day at least process, maybe twice a day. So having enough fibers would also help eliminate. And a lot of people are not having enough fruits and vegetables in their diet. And so it is important to make sure you incorporate at least 2 or 3 vegetables in your daily diet, maybe 2 servings of fruits, maybe in the berries family, because berries are really high in antioxidants, and vegetables as well, but also in the fruit family, the berries are really high in antioxidants. So we want to consume everything that is high in bioflavonoids, polyphenols, and all of these are usually higher in vegetables and fruits. And you want to consume less refined carbohydrates. So refined breads, refined starches, refined cereals. Most cereals are refined. I mean, it's really not easy to find. Some forms of granolas may be less refined, but oatmeal is the best form of cereal, for example. And so, again, circadian rhythm, waking up between 6 to 7 is the way, it's the proper time to wake up. And that way, this is when your melatonin starts to go down, which is the relaxation or the sleep hormone, and cortisol starts to go up. And so if you stay in bed until 9 a.m. or even 8, then you're kind of throwing off the biological rhythms, and you can take advantage of the time of the day that cortisol starts to rise, which you're supposed to have more energy and you're supposed to, feel ready to conquer your day. And so also going to bed not past 10 p.m. because at 9 p.m. melatonin starts to rise, and the best sleep quality happens between 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. This is the deepest sleep that you can get. Every 1 hour of sleep before 12 midnight is equal 2 hours after midnight. Exactly. So that's why people who go to bed at 10 or 9, a lot of them tell me they can wake up at 4 in the morning, refreshed, no problem. But if they go to bed at midnight or later, even waking up at 6 is difficult for them. And so making sure that you live according with the circadian rhythm is essential. Also for skin rejuvenation, if you're not suffering from a chronic disease that debilitates you or depletes you or emaciates you, then doing an alternate fasting or intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is you have 2 meals a day. The first one between 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The second or the last meal between 5 to 7 p.m. And you could have a nice snack in between, like fruits and nut butter or veggie sticks and hummus. This is a good snack. Because intermittent fasting allows the body to detoxify naturally, because you don't have any food in the body from, let's say, 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. the night before when you had your dinner until 10 a.m. next day or 11 a.m. next day. And then you have water during that time. You may have tea, herbal tea during that time. And the body is allowed to detoxify. And that's another thing that I feel like it helps. Fruits and vegetables are of varieties of color. This is the shortest way I could give your audience a good guideline. When there is different colors like yellows, red, greens, also berries, maybe blueberry, and different colors, purples, things like that. That means if you have a variety of that, you're getting a lot of the different antioxidants for rejuvenation and for skin health. Fruits that are yellow or orange, or potatoes that are white, vegetables that are whitish or yellowish or orangish. They're high in beta-carotenes, carotenoids, and vitamin A. That's great for the skin. And if you want to say something, you could stop me because I'm
soaking it all in.
Awesome. And then the red fruits and vegetables are high in lipocaines, and lipocaines will also, which is red pigment in fruits and vegetables, are also great for skin rejuvenation. Not drinking coffee or reducing the amount of coffee if you're a big coffee drinker also really helps with skin. Avoiding sugar, especially like when you put a lot of sugar in your drinks or coffee or tea, or you go for a lot of desserts or sweets, candies, cookies. Staying away from that. It also helps with skin rejuvenation. Dark chocolate is great for skin, in fact. So dark chocolate, if it's 70% or more pure chocolate, is great for skin. You could have that every day, a small piece, 2 pieces, etc. And green tea. Green tea is full of antioxidants. That's great for skin rejuvenation. So you could replace your coffee with green tea, for example. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is a major antioxidant, decreases inflammation, kills free radicals, and also it's amazing tissue repair supplement. On top of enhancing immunity, which we all need right now during the flu season with the virus. So really upping the dosage of vitamin C. That's also very important. Um, so yeah, so your also food combination. It is so important to know how to combine food, and that gets it into a very nitty gritty now. So you could be eating healthy, according to your understanding of what is eating healthy. But if you're combining the wrong foods, like you have eggs and beans for breakfast, it's a no-no. So you should never combine two different types of protein together, for example. You should never combine animal protein like animal meat, meaning animal protein, but only in the form of meat, with grains. So for example, red meat, chicken, turkey, with bread or with pasta, or with rice, or with starchy things like potatoes and yams. It should always be with complex carbohydrates, such as broccoli, so vegetables that are not starchy, and salads. So food combination is also really, really important when it comes to healthy body and healthy skin. Um, and of course, there are supplements um, like DNEA that is also said to be good for skin. Hyaluronic acid, supplementing hyaluronic acid, which is also good for joints, in fact, also good for skin. Um, alpha hydroxy acid in tablets, basically. Um, lipoic acid, alpha lipoic acid. So that's also a good one to take as a supplement. Of course, I mentioned vitamin C. And so having a routine, eating at the same time of the day. Don't have this variable routine. Having a variable routine throws out your physiology and it creates chaos within the system. So have your routines. Eat at the same time, sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time, exercise at the same time. Try to plan your day and have your routine. And again, circadian rhythm. Consider that when it comes to waking up, going to bed, eating your food, emptying the bowel, etc.
Wow.
I don't know if you have more questions, and so
No,
I could be more
that's
specific.
amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. Very informative, and I'm like sitting here soaking it all up, and I'm like thinking, okay, what do I need to do now?
I know it's a lot of information, but
But it's great.
but always creating change in life requires time, and
Yeah,
it requires consistency and persistency and patience.
right.
And you have to be patient with yourself, and just small steps go a long way.
Yeah.
So if you're the type that easily gets overwhelmed, your audience I'm talking, if you get overwhelmed easily, then add a new routine or a new step. If it's a small step, maybe for 1 week do this, then the next week add another healthy habit. If it's a very important change that you're not at all used to, or you think it's difficult, then incorporate that, but nothing else, and do that for 21 days. They say it takes 21 days to change a habit, but you have to be very consistent during that 21 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Either 21 days or 40 days. So be persistent, be consistent, be hopeful, be faithful, have faith that the body can heal itself, that you can do it. Have hope, have patience, have the right mindset. Get the negative thoughts out of your head. Replace the negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Write down a few, positive sentences that applies to you, to your life, or where is it that you habitually go to in your mind, that negative voice, putting yourself down, doubting yourself, or just thinking about the worst case scenarios. At least when it comes to you, your life, and your health. There are things outside in the world that, yeah, maybe going in a negative direction, maybe something like that. But what you can control is what's going on with this. And when it comes to this, try to stay faithful, positive, loving, and hopeful, and everything starts from here, from the individual. And so with the right mindset, you can change bad habits and incorporate good habits.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our time today.
My
How can
pleasure.
everybody find you?
So my website is yourvitalitydoctor.com. So yourvitalitydoctor spelled out.com. And if they want to, what is it?
I'll share the link with everybody. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
And if they want to contact my office, it's 310-289-9770 if they want to make an appointment. But I also, as we spoke before, I have this free gift, and it's a half an hour, 30-minute free health and wellness strategy call that they get on the phone with me, we speak for half an hour, and then I'll offer some solutions and what's the right path for the individual. And that's also on my website. There is a schedule appointment button, and that will take you to my calendar, and you could book the free health strategy 30-minute call.
Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here today, Dr. Mahdavi. I really enjoyed our time, and I was soaking up a ton of information. So I know everybody else is really going to enjoy this. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for having me.
Anytime.
And yeah, looking forward to hearing more from you and your summit, and wishing you much success for your summit.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And everybody, thank you guys all so much for being here today. I hope you enjoyed Dr. Mahdavi's presentation. And if you need anything from her, feel free to reach out. Her contact information will be in the email. So go ahead and grab that and schedule your 30-minute appointment, because it's never too late to take control of your health. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will be back tomorrow with another speaker of the day. Have a great day.